I'm Reinier Gamboa, and I was born in Camagüey, Cuba, and lived there till I was 11, and moved to the States in '95. Um, Always been interested in drawing. I grew up watching my dad draw and paint, so he was my first influence and guided me through the basic steps. And I've always loved drawing. Um, there's an early game that I used to play with my grandfather that basically just take a sheet of paper and just do a squiggle, and I would try to make something out of that. So that was a very early imaginative exercise that I think I'm still doing right now. There's a certain joy that comes from being able to create your own reality, and I think we do that regardless. We're always um, modifying. Uh, so that for me, making art is just an extension of that. It's just an extension of the way I think, the way that I put the puzzle pieces together, and that's really it. And for me, it's also a type of a therapy as well. I feel like without that, I don't know where I would be mentally, because it grounds me in a sense. It allows me to express something that sometimes I just can't find words or um, just my emotions. I can put it down on a paper or a canvas. I think um, these different worlds of art or pockets of uh, of labels are just there for the convenience of certain people. Not for everybody, but for certain people, it's a very convenient way to uh, um, judge reality and to feel like they understand something. So to me, it's just an illusion. Like it's not real. The term visionary art, uh, personally, I feel any artist is a visionary, like automatically. Um, if you don't have a vision, what are you expressing? You know? So that's just the way that I see it. And in the end, I do believe in unity. I believe that it's all connected. And yes, there's differences, but there's an underlying essence that simply implies that maybe perhaps because we're so used to language and it breaks up things apart, this is the way that we feel that we can function, but we're taking that idea to an extreme where basically we're destroying ourselves because we can't see the underlying unity in everything. So one of my goals is to be able to express that through my art. Just simply because that's the journey that I'm in right now mentally. It's like what am I thinking about? How do I see the connections between everything? How everything's just so dynamic, constantly affecting. Like the variables are constantly changing. So well, it's difficult to label myself as a shaman, but it's a comparison, and it's not way off, So because in a sense, that idea of connecting to something mysterious is there, connecting to something, perhaps channeling. I can't be really concrete about that and say, yo, yeah, I'm channeling you. This is, like I really don't know. I don't know if this is just my subconscious impulse that finds its way from a very subtle happening that I don't understand, finds its way all the way out here, and it just manifests itself. I don't know if Joseph Campbell used to talk about the energies of the body, so if I have indigestion, how does that affect my work? So there are all these different factors that one has to take in mind, and I believe it's always starting from the body, because one of the things I don't like about modern Western culture is the denial of body, denial of our humanity, our just flesh. We're so used to separating things, like the carnal and the spirit. Why are they different? Why do they have to be separated? So that's part of my whole thing. Like, okay, build bridges. Everybody wants to connect. Everybody wants to feel like they're part of something larger, because in reality they are. So it's breaking through those barriers and realizing, like, wow, I'm part of this whole thing that's more than just the little me, the little story of identity of who you are, and who you think you're supposed to be, and all that. So a couple of years ago, I met a girl named Tatiana, and she was going to New World for dance, and uh, she had the idea of, hey, why don't you come in and sit in class and observe what's happening. And so I talked to the teacher, and I was able to pretty much be like a fly on the wall and observe a dance improvisation class. And that was amazing, because I'm just constantly seeing compositions. I'm seeing different ways of an expression that's not premeditated. So that to me is really vital. Um, so so at the time, that was a big inspiration that I needed to just see people expressing themselves in ways that normally, they're reserved for certain occasions, or like not even, because I feel like the range that every person has of movement is seriously undermined or underplayed. We have certain patterns or whatever, but there's so much expression that we could tap into. Usually I follow the serendipitous adventure, where it's, I'm going in the woods of painting, and yeah, and I get lost, and maybe I'll find something interesting, maybe I'll just find a lot of meaningless things. It's really up to the moment, and that's really enjoyable for me, because I feel like I've trained in classical studies. Like, I know how to classically draw. I've been doing it for years. So what is the counterpoint to that? What is the opposite of that? And that's just free expression of form to me. That's where the abstract qualities come in, and that balance to me is necessary in order for there to be a range in dialogue. For example, this one at this point is it's just, it's undefined. I see possibilities, and I'm considering possibilities of where could there be a figure in that environment. um, uh, and that just comes after just hours of looking and considering every option. So I think that time is really crucial for a painter, just to not even judge, just to look, really look, and just continue, and seeing how the mind works, because it's a mirror in a sense. You're seeing a reflection. So whatever you project, that's you're witnessing an internal, almost like an internal movie that's happening. So at which point do you want to pause the film and be like, oh, this is the right one, Yeah. I think there's a certain fear of losing boundaries, because there are certain boundaries that we are invested in, and once we lose that, I mean, let's look at death, for example. That's the ultimate dissolution, the ultimate, like, you dissolve, like your essence of who you are gone. So there's interpretations. That's a really big, just brutal fact to face, that you as an ego, you will probably no longer exist after that. Even though there's theories that you may move on, whatever, but that you're gonna change in a way that is unpredictable, you know. So um, it's a fear, I think, of ultimate change that happens, you know, and it's very subconscious and it manifests itself in many ways. Um, Perhaps that's even what I'm doing with art, you know. Maybe I just, you know, I want to live forever, or in a sense, because in a sense, you know, each one is part of me. It's part of my identity, and I'll be in multiple places and at different times. But it's no longer me, as in like the the idea of who Reinier Gamboa is. You know, that's just, it's completely relative. Everybody has their own picture of, or their own slice of who they think I am, and so do I. It's just a fictitious story. You know, it's not real. So it's brutal because, you know, we have things that we love that require certain boundaries in order for them to exist. You know, certain structures. So you could say that they're just memes in a sense. You know, a meme needs a host, and people give their life and their energy to certain memes. You know, that just really just want to continue existing as a structure on its own. And once the fear of the ecstatic trance, and then realizing that, you know, you are one with everything, and that, you know, all these like boundaries are fictitious, you know, of course there's fear of that, because that just you know, reveals what a lot of people are trying to hide, you know, just like, no. Like, don't tell me this is not real, because it feels very real to me, you know. So eventually, I think we will all figure it out. Like, at some point, it's just like a joke. It's an ever evolving, shape shifting dance of ideas. That's it. I mean, and who knows when it started, and who knows when it's gonna end, or if it even ends, or it just cycles back to the beginning, or what it is, or, you know, who knows. But we're here for a little bit, and we might as well understand a little bit more, and work towards that, and just realizing what unites everything. That's it, really. If I'm